back to Level 3 Heat. Today we have a special guest. He a little special, but like special.
Why you hop up like that?
Wait, sorry. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Kibbs, Ann's brother.
Cubs?
Do you have a last name, Kibbs?
No, that's too much info.
Swag master. Kibbs.
Yeah, so we flew him all the way out from Germany. That's what we do. We
flew him out.
Get flew out. All expenses is paid for. Flights, travel, everything. We gonna do a real
flew out. Okay.
That's what we do. Level 3 Heat is all or nothing.
Paper.
All right. And actually, we have no money at all. So if you would like to sponsor us or know someone that will, please send it right to our direct messages.
Yeah, so he's been here for the past month and a half.
Word.
Kind of, something like that.
Yeah.
He's visiting for the holidays, straight from Berlin, Germany.
Sorry.
In my
do they do that in Germany?
They don't.
Oh, you can edit that out.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you have anything that you want to promote about yourself?
Yeah, actually, we do a podcast in Berlin called Concerned Citizens of the Universe. Follow that, and also my...
Is that on all platforms?
I think so. I have to check on that. It's definitely on SoundCloud, though.
Okay.
I know it's there.
SoundCloud is like,
yeah,
you know, the it
is
thing.
It basic? Okay.
No.
Oh, it's the it thing? Okay. So we're on the it thing. And humanityandpoetry.wordpress.com. That is where they can find my work.
Your poetry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, he's
It's
a
so
poet.
philosophical.
Yeah, I do that.
It's
I
author.
think and stuff.
I guess.
That's different.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of y'all, so.
So believe it or not, he's actually 5 years older than me. I know he looks younger, but he's a little up there. Also, oh my God, do you want to show them the gear you're wearing? Wait a minute.
Come on and twirl. Come on, girl. Give it a twirl.
Wow.
Whoa, how hot do you want it? Stop.
Sorry.
How hot do you want it? Mild hot or level 3 heat?
Level 4.
Not
Okay,
level 4.
sorry.
Sit down.
For
It's
everyone
like,
who's listening at
wants
home,
to do this.
we were just showing the audiences his sweater from Level 3 Heat. You know,
Our little
fresh
merch.
off the press. Oh my God, I can't see.
Press off the patch. Just like last time.
I
We're
mean,
gonna
you,
talk
what
about
did you
food.
say last time? Spit?
Spam.
Spit?
But yeah, he has on official level 3 heat gear, okay? So make sure that you get yours. Also, you guys can't see it, but the phone that's recording, the phone case on it is a level 3 heat case.
And then we featured the sticker last episode, and it's back
featuring
again.
Pretty much.
It's not on my bottle, but yeah.
Alrighty,
We will be removing you soon.
announcements that we have, we're still doing the holiday giveaway, so make sure that you follow all the instructions, the rules on the post, so that we can pick the best winner that actually followed the directions, whatever.
Again, we know y'all are broke, ghetto, hungry, so we hope that this donation from Level 3 Heat will help you this holiday season.
I think our listeners are gonna start getting tired of you insulting them every episode.
Broken ghetto.
Exactly. But speaking of broken ghetto, that reminds me of college students. I know a lot of you, this is the end of your semester, a long, hard semester, and I hope finals have treated you well.
Yeah.
Hope you guys had a good semester, and now you can relax. Spend some time with family if that's what you do, or people that you like to be around.
Yes. Don't waste no time.
Yeah,
no food.
relax before you have to go back, or if this is your last semester, congrats to you.
Snaps.
I don't think there's any other announcement.
yeah, that was
It's been
pretty much
brick as
it.
hell.
Yeah, I don't know
Very
about
cold,
where y'all
okay?
live, but in Boston it's 100 degrees brick.
The black almost came off of me, like.
The cold was so disrespectful, it just smacked you.
But I guess let's get into this episode.
All right. Well, moment of silence, please. The topic for today is, drumroll, moments of the decade. We're gonna take it back, okay? We're taking it back and forward and all around, all right?
That's
We're
how I
gonna
like it.
Go down memory lane, see what things we're embarrassed about, some things we're proud about.
We're just gonna go. She said?
What?
She said that's how she likes it.
Okay. That's how she likes it.
I know, but it just seems like
Freedom of choice.
so odd coming out of you,
Freedom of choice.
Miss Librarian.
Well, anyways, yeah, so what's the first topic that we'll start with? You want to do music or?
Let's talk about our social medias that we used to have throughout the decade.
MySpace.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. I wasn't allowed to have many at
Same.
all, actually. I think I made my first social account when I was, this is gonna be embarrassing. I was a senior in high school, I got Twitter.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You came late to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't allowed. I think I just really didn't, I wasn't that into it. I had Facebook, everybody had Facebook, but I wasn't,
Yeah.
I didn't have Tumblr, all that stuff.
Oh, that's what I had. I had Tumblr before I had Twitter, but I think I was allowed to have Tumblr because my mom didn't really know what it was. And it was probably much worse than Twitter, everything else that's out there. But I remember it was just the platform for socially awkward people that needed a space to be socially awkward
Yeah,
together.
and I remember when all my friends had MySpace, and let me tell you, y'all was wilding on MySpace. So.
Yeah, I feel
There's
like
hella drama on MySpace.
Yes, each platform had a specific category of people. The Ratchets were on MySpace, the socially
awkward. That word.
the socially awkward
That's self-hate.
were on Tumblr. Facebook was for giving the best part of yourself, your
At that
school.
time, yeah.
Facebook, nah, because you got family on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's the only social media I'll have family on,
Mhm.
other family. So you can't put no raunchy, crazy shit on Facebook.
But no,
Yes,
right now,
But now Instagram.
Yeah.
Or Twitter or MySpace. That's where all the other pictures is going. But
Right.
Facebook, you
there's
don't
no
put no
rules.
titties out.
There's no rules on
Facebook.
Twitter. Twitter is just a
Twitter,
free-for-all.
yeah, Twitter is nuts.
What about
I made
that's
my
why we love
Twitter.
it.
I made mine in 2010. I've been there since
So
8th
that's.
grade.
Oh yeah, that is 8th grade. So it came in. I had to do the math.
I've been
Yes,
on it dumb
please.
long.
Tell us.
But I remember having MySpace. I remember really trying to be cool on MySpace. There is a photo of me. I think it's gone away. I pray to God it's gone away. God,
I'm gonna find it now.
There's a photo of me if you type. Well, I'm not gonna tell you what to type in, but there's a certain thing you can type in, and you'll see me shirtless in front of my webcam, this, on MySpace. It's super duper embarrassing.
I
The
wanna see
Logitech
it.
camera.
Yeah, exactly. Oh shit, it's the worst thing ever. I found it on Google Images, and I hope it's gone away now.
I'm gonna try to find it.
no. But so I remember having MySpace. Then I went into Facebook a bit later. But I didn't have. But then again, I think I'm 5 years older than all of you guys. So I didn't have Twitter until.
Oh my gosh. It was the first thing that came up.
No, it
She
didn't.
lied.
Oh shit.
No, when I put Kibbs.
That
Is this it?
No, that's not it. I'll show you.
What picture is that?
That's a picture of one of the covers from my books.
Oh.
Let me see.
So.
We're having a moment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yo. No, I'll show.
That's
I'm trying to
bad.
think.
It's
of the
still
picture.
like
I think it's gonna come up. I'm so scared.
Anyways,
Where am I?
moving on.
Yeah. Then I got Twitter mad. That's pretty much it. Yeah. And I think Instagram I just got 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
But I feel like we
something
used to do more crazier stuff on social media compared to now. Hopefully, as you've gotten older, you kind of toned it down some. But I feel like I used to see crazy stuff on Facebook, especially.
Get into it. How crazy.
There used to be in Boston, there was pages that literally were Boston hoes or
Oh
those
yes.
high school pages of the biggest hoes in high school in Boston.
Oh my god.
And if you got posted on that,
you know everybody in the mothers was talking about
It was
you.
over for you, sis.
There was this Twitter page in Springfield that was exposing all the download.
no, I think
What?
Monty told me about that.
Yes,
All the
and they
ones
still
who
do
are in
it
the
to
closet.
this day. All the people in the closet, they some guy was, I don't know who it was, guy, girl, whatever. They was tweeting saying X person was sleeping with this person, this one got an STD from this person, this one fucked this one.
It was Carfax for people.
basically, and it was
How did they even find this out?
Hey, I
I
don't know.
mean-
It's probably one of their closest friends, to be honest.
It has to be. It be the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's enough.
Okay, so
I love that song.
But on Facebook, there
So
used to
much.
be pages where they would roast each other, like, so it'd be like Spanish people be like, or black people be like, or white people be like
Oh,
that
like
whole trend.
yeah.
It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
They used to violate too. I'm just like, oh.
Maybe this is why my mom didn't want me to have it. She knew I was
Probably.
emotionally unstable, and I probably couldn't handle it.
To be honest, yeah, it was just like a lot.
Or like
but MySpace was a
even like the pictures we used to post, like, oh my god.
blowfish.
Oh, she
With the-
still does it. Go ahead, sis.
The blowfish, or like, you know how people used to pose,
Oh my god,
pose
with
at
their
like
feet?
awkward angles. And
Yes,
it's
with
It
their
was like
feet
it was like
this.
this, like
yeah,
No, but you have to put the feet together like that.
yeah.
Yes, a little bit more.
That's when the like
Exactly.
the emo fades to grudge.
Oh my
type of
god,
thing was
when
very
they used
popular.
oh my god, I remember my friend Marina used to tease her hair, like side bangs, tease the hair like huge. It's just like, girl, looking back on it, it looked like you went through a fucking hurricane. Like, it was crazy.
the picture, like the profile picture had to be perfect if I was gonna use it for any of my
Yes,
social
edits.
media.
Editing,
All
like
type
those
of-
pictures.
Putting
I was
your
a-
little name in the corner.
I was a
or
full-blown coder. Okay, on Tumblr, full-blown, and I know
Yeah, I
for
never
MySpace it
understood
was the
it.
same thing.
It was. It was.
Do you think for like our age group, because we're like a couple years younger, do you think we focused on it more, or do you think it's just because like we're girls?
Yeah, I think there's more pressure on women than for men, and I also think that there's certain things that I guess I'm out of that kind of bubble, like of having a social status in school, or being in a certain group, like being a part of a team or something like that. So I'm kind of out of that. I'm 5 years removed from that. So I guess it's
but
not so
you
much
used
of
to
a
edit
thing
your
for me.
pictures too.
I would make sure I was in the light in a certain way. I used to make sure the light angle was good, and I used to suck in my abs so it would really show. But I guess I don't really have that pressure. I think there's a more of a hyper masculinity when it comes to men, of like needing to appear much bigger. So I would make sure I would take the picture after having a big meal. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I have the
So
same
we
kind
can
of.
all just look pregnant.
It's
Is
like-
the advice you're giving us?
So my chest comes out a bit more. But like I don't necessarily think that.
What does happen to my
I have
titties
the-
when I eat a meal?
Gotta eat the right meal. but like I think it's just a different definitely different for guys, and also different if I'm in 5 years older.
Okay. Well, you want to go on to the next topic? Music and like fashion and stuff like that.
Fashion will take over.
Oh my
'cause I feel
god.
like much of our fashion was connected to the music we were listening to, the music videos we were watching. So from this like 2010 to now period, I still think many times like people are like, oh, like I think that looks hot, like I'm gonna try to wear that too. So
I think
Oh my
people
god,
just recycle.
2010 was like
You know,
the Nicki Minaj bangs, like
Mhm,
big
the
old
colored hair.
bangs, the hair.
colored hair.
What else was there?
The Wiz Khalifa hair, Jesus.
Every nigga had that fucking blonde patch. Every single one of them.
Do you
I
know what
think-
I'm talking about, Kibbs?
Yeah, I would never do that, but I do know exactly what you're talking about. I was embarrassed for them. No,
All the
that's-
guys on our
no.
basketball
All of them.
team had that. I was just
Mm.
like,
What is the purpose? Like your sister had some bleach left over and you said,
Yay!
This was the only amount left. We only had this much to do all that.
Wiz Khalifa really started like a whole trend.
Mhm.
That's
I think
nuts.
like the overall like the weed skater,
yeah, the black
like
skater
Yes.
like you just walk into Zoomies and throw up there kind of thing. Yeah.
I definitely
the
think he
boobies,
had
bracelets.
a
I
big
love
influence
boobies.
on the like the black skater boy phase.
Yes.
And like Wiz Khalifa kind of got into that too. Not Wiz
Mm.
Khalifa, my God, my brain. What's his name? Lil Wayne.
He did.
A little
The
bit.
truck
It was
fit.
truck fit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was always just like big rubber band bracelets, Vans.
Mhm.
The fucking scarves.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
the
they're
scarves
like
that
plaid.
they used to wear,
that
the
look
plaid
like the Middle
ones?
Eastern.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I think I know what you're talking about.
They
yeah.
would
Oh
wear
my gosh, that just hit me like,
weed
wait.
socks, like the weed high.
The weed.
The weed.
Plant.
Yeah, like it would be the weed plant, but it would like be knee high.
Yeah.
Yeah, knee high. Those.
Let me see,
Um,
what
what else?
sneakers did they wear? What did
The
they wear?
no,
Vans
that's
back
when-
then?
This is when the skinny.
DCs.
Yes. First of all, those are ugly. Let me just say.
I feel like
love
DC's was
those.
before
But I think
2010 though.
Maybe. But I just think those sneakers were always ugly.
They were.
I think this era.
Go away.
You had them?
Yeah, I had pink ones.
Well, you see that there's like an opening in the wall over there. It's called a door. You can go through it.
It's because you guys didn't know how to wear it, and that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, little Kim is the librarian.
Guess what? You can go look up Little Kim in the library, and I'll pick out the book. The skinny jeans, that was part of that whole
Yes.
boy phase too. Like, let me get my jeans tight in the different Kool-Aid colors to match my sneakers, that match my belt, and the shirt that I'm wearing, and then let me just...
And the spiked belt. It
Yeah,
had to
but
be
like-
a spiked belt.
Okay, so New Boys kind of started that.
Yeah.
The tight,
Oh,
different
yeah.
colored, skinny
I'm a
jeans.
Vans on,
But they look like sneakers.
Vans.
Yeah, the shoes. Oh yeah, so Vans.
Mhm.
Definitely Vans, because like
Mhm.
they used to wear Vans all the time. A tee and then like different color thingies. And then the slit in the eyebrow, they both
Yes.
had that
Yes.
too. What
No,
else?
but
the
those belts,
hats.
I used to rock those belts.
Snapbacks.
Oh.
Snapbacks and tattoos.
Yeah, snapbacks
Who
and
made that?
tattoos. It was
Kidding?
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain did not make that.
Kurt Cobain.
Okay now, hold up.
The water.
Yes.
Hold up.
Bro, I used to really wear those belts. Like, I had a belt, the stud ones to match my outfits, like a whole bunch of different ones to match my outfits.
Them shits hurt.
And when a stud came off, look, it was me, a little sewing, you can put it back in.
No, that was the other thing we used to do too, like being very matchy. Like, everything was, if I'm wearing a yellow shirt, I have to wear the yellow thing that also is the same exact yellow.
Yeah, it can't be off at all.
And I was just like, that was disgusting. Literally. But I
I'm
also
trying
feel
to
like
think,
that's
like,
a Caribbean influence. Too.
People
People still do that shit.
I'm trying to think.
Jamaicans.
Oh, True Religion jeans were like big back then too.
I couldn't afford those.
Yeah, it was like a symbol that you had money. And I think now people still wear them, but not as much. Like, it's not as popular.
What else? North Face. You have to have the North Face jacket.
With the North Face book bag.
A Jan's. Oh, I was gonna say.
Wow,
a
it's
Jansport
kind of
too.
changed now. Now people care about Patagonias and like Columbia jackets.
But I think people are starting to realize like the worth of certain brands more now, not just because a whole bunch of people have it. But you know, there's still the hype beasts out there, Balenciaga, all that dumb shit. Because
Hype
Balenciaga is ugly.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're a hype beast.
How am I a
And we
hype
all
beast?
net.
Does this?
The
I'm
people
wearing,
know.
I'm wearing a thermal shirt
Right now.
and regular
Because
pants.
we're recording.
Do I look like I can afford hypebeast?
This is the same girl.
And
who
has
wears-
all this jewelry, all
Back up.
this jewelry, iced out chain, lashes.
You have a whole chain on. What
No,
are you
I
talking
don't,
about?
man. Come on now.
This is the same girl that wears anti-social social club as soon as they have a drop. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my
Adidas is
God.
having a 40% off. Oh my goodness. Yeezys? You want to get the Yeezys?
Mariah, I need you to go online at the same time as me to
Where's
help me.
my MCM bag? No, where is my MCM bag? Like, shut the fuck up. Thank you. All right. Damn. What else was there? Aeropostale, Hollister.
Yes, Jordans. You remember people used to go crazy?
Niggas used to. Well,
No,
that's been
they
forever.
went crazy
though.
for these. Show them.
Yes,
show them.
yes. Right now, Kibbs has on the
The
all white
Air Force
G phase
Ones.
those. Okay, he brought it all the. I mean, I feel like they never left.
They did.
No,
for a
they,
little
right
while.
now they've like sold out everywhere. Like kids love them.
Yeah.
Including my sister.
But it's like, look who's wearing them now.
Wait. I'm not sure how to
And
take
it's-
that because I'm wearing them now.
No, not like that. I mean, people who are not of the culture
right.
are now rocking them with every single thing that doesn't even match.
Doesn't.
No,
I
now
see-
now they're allowed to be dusty.
Dirty, like
Dirty,
they're not even
like
white
Converse.
anymore. They're not all white G Phazos. They're like tan, nude, off white cream G Phazos.
The thing is, you're literally describing the shoe on his foot right now.
I'm sorry, kids. You
We're
should
not-
have
we're
known
not
better.
doing- we're not
They're,
doing sweet
they're
kids.
going in on you a little.
We're talking about
My
the.
feelings are hurt.
We're talking about the Ralph Lauren women who now decided they wanted to wear Air Forces with spring dresses. And I don't get it.
Oh, that's a
Oh, people used to wear polo all the time. Polo was
the bigger
big.
the horse, the
But
bigger
didn't,
you were.
didn't
And then
Kanye make
that's-
that?
What?
Kanye made that like popular, right? He said
The
that
polo?
trend, the polo.
Yeah.
Oh,
he did.
well, like the physical
Like, and
polo,
wearing
yeah.
Yeah, the polo
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
backpack kind of thing.
Mm.
But I think that like polos were huge because then it became this big debate about like the whole USPA phase, like
USPA?
Yeah.
Say that word again.
Yo, first of all, no. This boy was getting roasted on he was getting roasted on Facebook. This is my freshman year of high school. And this girl was going in on him because he was trying to come at her crazy. And he used to wear USPA, and people saw that like as a fake polo.
That's right.
So she was like, "You be wearing USPA, UC polo, like she just like went in, like she said that was like the abbreviation.
So
like,
break it down now.
like UC polo, like USPA,
Oh.
UC polo.
Sounds like something very Springfieldish.
She was just like going in on him, and everybody was just
polo. Look at the letters.
USPA, UC polo,
But I just. Is
meaning like
2,000 years later.
sentence structure here. I just.
She's saying.
Like I just don't. How is like I was trying to.
But I'm telling you, like she was going in on him, like you're not really.
So
wearing
act it out
polo.
for me, like, oh, you see polo.
We're gonna move on because Lala's fucking slow.
On Facebook.
No, Mariah, we don't need to explain it anymore. As long as you got it, that's all that matters.
Well, duh, the librarian should know sentence structure.
Say it librarian one more time.
They throwing hands.
Between cat and black.
Okay, moving on. What else was there? For like the music. Well, music. Drake dominated the last decade. Young Money
Like,
literally.
let that man go because before that, it was
Why is she still talking?
it was
I don't know. She likes to chat.
You don't know.
No, Lil Wayne dominated.
Lil
Yes,
Wayne dominated,
it was
and
Lil
then he
Wayne.
brought Nicki Minaj and Drake
Drake.
along, and they dominated the last decade.
But like in the beginning decade, what were you guys listening to?
Definitely Beyonce.
Literally, 2010, 2009, Drake came out.
Yeah, but I wasn't the
I was-
biggest
yeah,
Drake
I wasn't
fan
listening
I
to
was,
like
oh my
that.
god.
Oh, wow, really?
I love
No.
Drake.
Yeah.
I don't even. I think I was
I
probably
was
listening to
definitely
like
And I was
Chris
listening
Brown.
to Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
I was Chris Brown.
Beyonce. I was definitely all Beyonce. Rihanna.
Rihanna
Thunder
definitely.
Replay.
Yes.
Your little Bayesian
Thunder
princess.
Replay, yes. I was used to watch the video, try to learn the dance.
Show us.
That was a couple years back. Kind of forgot it.
Mariah.
It's not like riding a bike.
I will
Let's
insert
see,
clips
what else
of you
is
at
there?
these parties. Don't tempt me.
Lala, I have clips of you as well.
There is no clips of me because nothing
let
is
me
moving.
let me pull them up.
Nothing moves.
You remember the 978?
Oh yeah.
Oh
There was a lot going on there.
Anyway, moving on.
lost.
Yeah, so they dominated the last decade. I think J. Cole really made a name for himself as well.
I'm trying to think who else.
The
Beyonce
South,
just keeps getting like bigger and better.
Yeah.
Like
the South, I feel like made a name for themselves just by like the
The
whole
dances.
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta. Like the dances. Cause isn't Soulja Boy from Atlanta?
Yes.
He is with the.
You don't hear that accent? That nasty ass accent. Sorry to anyone from Atlanta, but I'm sorry.
You know we don't have no love for the coast.
But that accent really sounds crazy.
Took me the fuck out. No, but it was him that we paid attention to. It was Bow Wow.
Not in 2010 though.
What? Yeah, let me
That
hold
was
you.
way before 2010.
Really?
No,
Yes.
it wasn't.
Google it.
I am
Google
gonna
it.
Google it.
Literally Google it.
Let me.
No, do it.
Because weren't you were in high school at the time, no?
Yeah, I think.
So it was way
Yeah.
before 2010.
Oh.
Don't just agree with her.
No, I do remember
Wow,
because we were singing that in high
he has
school.
to go
That, and I
back home.
graduated
Thank you.
2009.
He has to go back home with
That's
her.
the thing. I'm afraid
Like
for my
nobody
life.
was listening to
SOS.
Bow Wow at the time.
Who
Bow
else
Wow
was
died
there?
off at that
But I
point.
definitely, like
Oh
you said,
shoot.
Beyonce.
Yeah, that was old.
What year?
No wait, what is the decade again?
Beyonce?
Like
2010.
Okay,
Do you not know what a decade means?
I do, but like we got a
Remember
little.
we went over this before.
Fucking goodness.
We got a little frazzled. Yeah, no, that was actually 2005. So
Adele, she became very big
Yeah.
this decade.
now I'm just
Oh, the
so
Migos as well.
concerned.
Yeah.
Amigos.
Really big. And they
Lil
changed the whole
Uzi,
culture.
Well, Young Thug, like.
So it went into like dancing music, songs that you had to learn like dances to.
Mhm.
It went to trap, like the Migos. It went to was Walk of Life a part of that too?
I feel like
Hard in the
maybe.
well,
Hard
actually,
in the
Hard in
Paint.
the Paint, is that our decade?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that because I was in my college years. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was and no hands.
Yeah, but you be coming in late to the
Mine,
song.
no
Like,
hands,
you be
and
finding
no
it
dollar,
late.
and I don't dance.
I'm not
There's
like
one more.
I deserve a
There's
chance.
one more like piece. Oh, then it was like the not so much conscious rap, but like the like taking drugs phase.
Yeah.
Like it's
The
cool to be
lean.
on fucking.
Yeah,
lean.
but that's always been happening. It's just I feel like it's more now, but that's been
Yeah.
happening.
But
or
I
like
think-
the emo kid, like socially awkward, like Juice World kind of phase.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. to the band.
Well, but that's actually really interesting because that's also this decade is also where you had this huge push of like SoundCloud rappers as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little,
And SoundCloud DJs as well.
a little Zayn. Oh, there's
All the
little.
Lils.
Yeah, all of them just
Literally.
made a huge push, and that's also where that whole emo rap came from as well.
Yeah.
What's his name? Little Peep as well.
Oh yeah, he also
Lil
passed.
Peep?
he also, yeah.
Lil Bo as well.
She thought that was She thought that was
I don't know. I thought that was like funny.
You see how we just
Okay.
okay. Moving on. Who else?
But I think Migos definitely took the they opened the door
Versace,
for
Versace,
the
ad-libs.
for the mumble
Oh,
rappers.
Drake.
Mhm.
Drake he definitely took their flow for the Versace song. That kind of put them on the map more.
Mm.
The Versace song?
But I'm just saying, like,
It
in
was
general, I
definitely
feel
that
like
song.
they opened the door for the mumble rappers.
Because I think
Yes.
that was the first song I ever heard by them.
You
Versace.
never heard the one, I know she a freak, I know she
I think that was
freaky.
after though.
Yeah, it probably was. I don't know.
Damn.
We just online.
I'm
not
pretty
saying
sure it was after.
We don't have no facts.
Yeah, I barely know what decade we're in at this point.
Yeah, that's sad.
And I think Soulja Boy is the one who really started the trend for all the like the dance.
The dance songs,
The dance
like the
songs.
Nene.
Because after Soulja Boy, then it was like Cupid Shuffle. What else?
Cupid,
Wait, was the Cupid Shuffle not
I'm
before
sorry.
that?
Yeah, I think the
What?
Cupid Shuffle was before.
Yeah.
The Cupid
Oh.
Shuffle?
Yeah.
That's
the
like
Cupid
a-
Shuffle.
that's like our mom's That's
because
like a
I don't know, I just
song.
feel like whenever I would hear Soulja Boy, I would hear like that song with it, and then like I don't know what other Wobble.
Wow.
The Cat
that,
Daddy?
Yes.
Cat Daddy.
The
Cat
Stinky
Daddy.
Leg?
Mm-hmm.
Stinky Leg was before that.
Was it?
Whoa.
But I feel like I would
So
always
like
hear
to
these songs
Stinky Leg
always
is mad
together.
The Stinky Leg?
Now she wild. Do the stanky leg.
That wasn't the decade. That wasn't our decade. I
No, it
remember.
was
Because
not.
that was we did that. If I did it in college, it was in our decade.
But not necessarily that it
Kids,
first came
no,
out. But like
look
we
up
were,
the Stinky Leg right now.
Okay,
Because
this
I
one
know
I'm-
for a fact
this
that's
but we
not
were
in our
still
decade.
listening to it.
Yes, I know that, but I'm saying like that wasn't a song that
She's
hit.
throwing a fit. You don't see?
Yes, she's turning red.
It is gonna hit.
That's that hair. It's the Lil Kim hair.
First of all, I just want you guys to state facts. Thanks.
Okay.
GS
Now she
Boys.
wild.
Like,
Do the stanky leg.
The chicken noodle soup, or was
Oh,
that before?
that was
That was cool. That was.
Was it?
You see the shit I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
like this is a cusp. It's 2009, so it probably didn't take off.
yeah,
till-
like that's what I'm saying. We were still doing the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did
I'll
Lip
take
Gloss
that.
come out? Because let me tell you, I was rocking that
Yeah,
song.
Lip
That
Gloss
was middle school.
Yeah. that
Yes,
was-
well, to this day, if it comes on my music,
Yeah, I have a video of you.
my lip gloss is popping. My
Shut
lip
up,
gloss
shut
is
up.
cool.
What else?
Remember when they used to say that Little Mama looked like was Bow Wow? Was
They
the same
do
person?
look very similar though. They
Oh my
really
God,
do
was
look
this
similar.
the generation? What am I saying? The decade where Charlamagne roasted Lil Mama on the
I think
Breakfast
it
Club?
was.
Yeah, because the Breakfast Club is
That
only
was-
9 years old.
Yeah.
They're not even like.
So
the
what?
full
Yeah.
decade.
That was
Charlamagne was ruthless.
But he's changed a
his
lot.
ways.
Yeah, he's changed.
He's
a lot.
changed
It's
his
therapy.
ways.
Because when I seen that
Just
episode, I'm
wonders.
just like,
Like at first, no, the memes. Oh, this was definitely the decade of memes. The memes
Everything's a
around,
meme.
yeah, everything is a meme now. The memes around that Lil Mama picture made it funny, but like watching the video, it was like, oh my God, like stop bothering her, like stop
Mhm.
doing this. It's not funny anymore. Now she's getting irritated.
I mean, her whole life story is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know, Charlamagne's just another person.
I mean, I think
Charla,
that the
Uncle
Breakfast
Charla.
Club, all those things. And I know we're talking about music, but like
Mhm.
all these things open like a door for people to be more opinionated.
Yeah.
Like when,
More blunt.
yeah, people were more blunt. I feel like that was, and like you could see that even in the music. Like people was just saying reckless shit. Like
And I think people are more unapologetic.
like the Migos, like that whole song. I know she a freak. Like he said something
I know
like
that she freaking.
he
No,
said,
the
like,
thing he's like you're kissing
your
your
daughter,
daughter, like basically after you just sucked my sucked my son.
yes.
For money, but in the night, your daughter be seeing niggas in and out. You kissing your daughter, got dick on your mouth.
He said kissing your
And he's
daughter.
like,
got
then
dick
you
on your
want you just kissing your daughter, and it's just like.
Yes, this was like really like musically. I think people took more risk with what they would say.
And then I think we were the audience that was like, yeah, I rock with that. Yeah, she was sucking that, and she kissed her daughter. Yeah.
Probably not us, but yes.
But we were more open to it. Like I think if someone was to do that like 20, 30 years ago, the market would be like, oh my god, absolutely not.
I mean,
This
yeah,
is
look
too
what they did
explicit.
with like NWA and like all those rappers, like just talking about, and they were kind of talking about what they were actually living. Today, people just talk about
Whatever.
They wish they were living.
exactly, and like we're all in for
I mean,
it.
Future doesn't even do drugs, so.
Yes.
Future doesn't. 50 Cent doesn't. He used to be in the club with ginger ale in his cup. Literally. Like, that's
Oh, this
nuts.
is the decade of everyone owing 50 Cent back money.
Yes.
Including you guys, I heard.
Get the strap. Us. It ain't me, let me tell you. I would never borrow money from him. Hell no.
I'm trying to think what else happened this decade.
Well, but,
What, music? Anything else with music?
no, I want to make a quick connection, and maybe this will segue to the next topic. But I remember I was talking to a friend of mine in my bachelor's degree, and he was like, he said it was crazy that because he was this like tall white kid like from the suburbs, but he was really big into Gucci Man, where like and you know when Gucci Man used to go burr burr burr.
We screaming bird from our nails to.
He used to go burr burr burr. He was really big on that. So just imagine this white kid with super long hair. He'd be just like burr burr. And, he was.
It's
he
sad
was-
because I can imagine.
Yeah, and he was so funny, right? But one day we were having this conversation. We were talking about politics and stuff like that, and he was like, it's crazy that you can put on a certain music, like rap music, and I love rap music. I listen to Gucci all the time, Kibbs, and I was like, I hear it. And he was like, and you're saying all these things, but you can never. You're saying all these things and talk about all these various topics in your music. However, you couldn't just walk in the street and say that or go to a podium and say that. And he said that when I was in my bachelor's degree. Fast forward 4 years, and you have Donald Trump. And it's like,
That's
he's
such-
saying
yeah.
all those things, like grab him by the pussy and all those things. And I think like, so just talk about this idea of like the year of being unapologetic. It becomes ironic that because we had this decade where everybody felt like they could say whatever they could say, then now people are also, there's also this extreme push for like being very PC as well. You know what I mean? So just trying to find
yes.
out how do you balance that
For
out.
everyone who doesn't know what PC means.
No, don't say don't know. That don't read. Let's
And
call it
for
out.
everyone who doesn't know, she just happened to watch an episode of Explained yesterday. That's why she knows what PC is. PC stands for political correctness.
First of all, calm down. I watched that episode because I wanted to learn.
But it had nothing to do with reading. If you didn't see the episode, would you have known what PC means?
Yeah, I would. I would.
Okay.
Okay.
But I can't front. The first thing I thought it was people of color. Like.
PC.
Do you guys not feel like that's like a duplicate thing?
No,
man?
because it's POC.
You need help, literally.
I support you.
I don't think Kibbs wants you touching him.
I'm sorry. I just, if one of y'all were here.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, I agree
Sneakers.
with him. That was like a good.
But yeah, talking about Trump, let's.
That was a good.
I think
He's
in
there.
this decade, also, people have lost their minds clearly because why?
Why is he the president? Please.
I mean, but let's.
Because of this
That's
decade.
that's something we could have announced. He has finally gotten to the impeachment. He's not out of office yet, but he has gotten to the point of
learned that the hard
impeachment.
way the other night.
Oh Jesus, who's Christ?
Whose phone is that? Do not disturb my
It's the computer.
Oh, I think it was.
Oh.
Yeah, you wasn't gonna say nothing, Mariah?
I just said, oh
Why
Jesus,
she
oh
pointing
Christ.
her
No,
fingers at
she-
you like
she-
that?
I thought it was my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, put those 2 fingers down, alright?
Oh, they throwing hands.
Put the safety back on.
2 up, 2 down.
But yeah, I think it's even crazy that that man got elected And
It
it's
just shows like where the mindset of a majority of
we went from
America
in this
is
decade we went from Obama to
to him
President Trump, a man who has no political background.
at all.
And if imagine Obama tried to come in there like with all no political background, I'm just a businessman. He would not have gotten elected.
Sure would.
I mean, these people still don't think he's even from here. Like, I don't know.
That's true, actually.
He would not have been president. if he
Wait, but
didn't
have we
this
moved
shit.
on to this, like, are we going to talk about the political structure of the decade?
I think,
Sure.
yeah, why not?
So go ahead, Kamala Harris.
Wow, I gotta be Kamala Harris?
Go ahead, Kamala.
Is it Camilla or Kamala?
Kamala.
I don't know. I think Kamala sounds
Didn't-
better.
Didn't she drop?
She dropped
She
out,
did
yeah.
drop, so try
Yeah.
again, sweetie.
But I think what's interesting about when you think about the political structure now is that when I looked at the Democratic candidates, I don't see anybody there who really stands out. And not to sound like a pessimist, but to really, have
You don't
both
like
feet on the
Nikki
ground.
Haley?
I do,
Oh.
but I just don't think that he's going to be captivating for a majority of Americans. So when I put both feet on the ground, and I'm being very realistic about it, I just see the election swinging towards Trump again. I think he's just captivated the decade so
Yeah.
much and to captivate the imagination of the American people that it's going to be very, very hard to just campaign against him. I mean, this idea of what we were talking about being very unapologetic and saying what you feel, saying what's on your mind. I remember I was watching this news segment and this woman was like, Trump says exactly what I'm thinking. And that scared me a bit. Yeah, and that scared me a bit because I was like, wow, that's what you're thinking. I think that allowed for people to feel like they can, quote unquote, be more of themselves, whatever that means.
Yeah,
Now
I think he says this, he just says like the most outrageous things.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my God, I love him.
But then
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, then it gets down to like, is it outrageous? Because like, if that's what people genuinely think, then that's actually like people's like, that's normal for people. Like that's considered normalcy. So I feel like the reason why there's like a disconnect when you look at the Democrats, which by the way, as Black people, I strongly believe that we shouldn't hold on to that party, but that's another
true.
story.
Mhm.
I think that none of them are able to, a lot of them have this like old mindset of like, well, we can just attack the person and that's enough.
Mhm.
No one is coming to the table and saying like, okay, and many of them have done like pretty bad things for like the Black agenda or have negatively contributed to like Black people. No one comes to the table and says, okay, yes, this happened. Yes, this was my way of thinking. I've moved on to this because this is what is like the current state, or like this is my background. Like no one's willing to just be like open and honest. And like if they are open and honest, it's not in a genuine way. Like Kamala Harris cannot sit and talk about, since we mentioned that I heard today, she can't talk about like, yeah, like I smoke weed and like I'm half Jamaican and like now it's like exciting that you're Jamaican and you smoke weed, but it wasn't when you put many African Americans in jail in California. So it's like at this generation and in this decade, I think we understood holding people accountable for what they actually say, even if they want to be like unapologetic about it.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That can be a segue into the Me Too movement.
Ooh.
There's certain
Oh,
things
movements.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are certain things
A
that
lot
you
of
can and
movements
cannot
have
say
happened.
because you will be flamed and put up
Cancel
on the
culture.
stake. Yeah, put up on the stake for it, basically.
But I think some movements were important. I still
The Me Too movement definitely was.
And like for example, Black Lives
But
Matter
girl, I was just about to say it.
has come out of this decade. I think we experienced a lot of police brutality in this decade, and not necessarily more than other decades, but it has been more televised. So
Yes.
people are now more outraged because they're constantly seeing these
Outrage
stories.
and kind of like numb to like being sympathetic towards it, kind of. Like you can empathize with it, but like I don't know. I feel like
It's
after
almost
watching
like-
all of these videos, it's like when you keep watching the same reel over and over again, you just kind of feel
Like,
numb and
oh,
emotionless.
another
to
Black
it.
kid is dead. You heard about the other one from last week?
Yeah,
What about
exactly.
the 3 from
Oh my
last
gosh,
month?
like this is not
And that's
right.
sad.
Sad. Yeah.
And I mean, we even experienced it going to Dartmouth. Like people would try to have rallies in support of Black Lives Matter, and let me tell you, the non-coloreds, they were not happy.
It was not happening.
They sure weren't. They were going in on the Facebook posts that we had for the page.
I think movements are like, well, let me ask the question first. Do you guys think that like movements help?
Yeah, I think they bring awareness, but I think that's only the start. I think there has to be a constant action still behind. Who's texting Betsy now?
Lala is.
Yeah, but like I just don't know why it goes over there
Because her phone is connected. Sorry, audience. What was I saying? I think there still has to be a push, like a constant, like effort still behind the movement. Like you can be out there marching in the streets and stuff like that. For example, protesting. But after that, what else are you gonna do? Are you gonna sit down with lobbyists? Are you gonna try to help change laws? Like you have to do more than just bring awareness.
Yeah, we're like this decade is a decade of like.
Oh, I posted it on my social media.
Yeah, so that means
social media.
It's done something, but
It's like, oh, I made my profile picture blue, so now the kids are not dying anymore.
yeah, we're a part of it.
Or what happened in France where there was like this whole filter that you could put on your picture.
Someone blew up on one of the like big like state.
Pray for France, all this
Yeah.
extra shit. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But then that was what caused another controversy too. Was something else happened like the same time in Africa, like something was happening, like I think like the genocides or something with Syria, maybe something like that. And like people are like, how come there's not like as much talk for?
Yes.
That
Yeah, I think we
as
rely on
France.
movements to like bring
Inform
greater
us.
awareness. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like other major movements.
Well, Bill Cosby and R. Kelly is in jail.
Y'all are going to jail! Period!
That I think that shook us a little bit, especially from
Well,
the
R.
Black
Kelly,
community.
that nigga needed to go. Like, since the beginning of time.
His
And
documentary
it's
came out.
disgusting how so many people were like sitting around letting it happen. Like, giving him access to do all this stuff. Like, they're sick too. Like, you guys need to be in jail as well.
I think that we, with that situation, part of being like unapologetic, the other side of that is like being selective in what we choose to like talk about and express freedom towards. And I feel like with R. Kelly, like that was, at least in the Black community, it was just like selective.
It was a joke.
Selective.
People literally made like, Dave Chappelle, didn't he make a parody or something on his show?
I'm gonna piss on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, you know, it was oh
That
my,
one,
the music
then
video
the
was-
Boondocks, I think they had.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the
actually, the
Boondocks-
Boondocks portrayed it exactly how it happened, which is very scary. Like,
I didn't watch that.
But
Really?
Boondocks was almost like it was a satirical show.
Yeah.
So they took things that were happening in real, like the Black community, and like made a little spin of a joke on it. And I think
But
specifically
everything that happened
Yeah.
in the Boondocks literally happened in real
like
life.
they specifically targeted the R. Kelly movement. I mean, not movement, like moment. How can you not? Like that was like the biggest thing that was going on. Like this grown ass man just peed on a little girl.
Let's examine this whole peeing thing. So I can pee in the toilet and it's okay. But if I pee on a person, it's like not okay.
Everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
So everyone was making like videos and a whole bunch of stuff about it. And I think it was crazy, like how when the documentary came out, like who would have ever thought that this man was doing all this to people?
Yeah.
And I think we heard about it like when we were in school and stuff.
But they made him a meme too.
But you didn't really you didn't understand the impact of it. Like it was just like, oh my God, he peed on somebody. So like we didn't get it as much as now. Like so when the documentary came out now, as like we're older, we're more mature, we watched the documentary and we're like.
No, but I think like with that also because of like the Me Too movement and more women like speaking about their experiences or the negative experiences like help shape the decision like, oh, maybe it is serious.
Yeah, and holding people accountable, I think.
Yeah.
Because as you said before, like people were being selective. So I think even with like the Bill Cosby thing, like when it first came out, people were just like, no, not Bill Cosby. Like
Right.
we love him.
Yes.
Like, no. Same thing with
That
R.
was
Kelly.
a hard one
R.
to
Kelly
believe.
made all these hits.
I believe that one.
No.
But
like,
Bill
it can't be him.
Cosby, he was like the black father figure.
Like everyone wanted to be the
nuts.
Huxtables.
Right.
Everybody wanted to. That was the ideal black family. And then they're like, oh, we see this father figure. Like, no way, that couldn't have been him.
And I think it gets dangerous like when we're selective about what we want to shed light on or like start movements for like. And you see it's dangerous with the R. Kelly situation, but there's another situation as well that like literally just escaped my mind that that it also becomes dangerous in. Okay, for example,
The
right?
girl that staged her
Yeah, the girl that staged her own
kidnapping.
yeah, everyone was ready, like
Carol
please,
Sanchez.
Carol,
Okay?
please. Yeah, free Carol, like free find our girl, like all this, and like without getting the necessary information to understand like the situation, and we ended up finding out that she obviously faked her own kidnapping. So it's like we were ready to go through the ends of the earth, start movements, start all like hashtags, this, that, and the third. And
But you would never think somebody would be so insensitive. Well, you can't put it past people, but like so insensitive to fake your own kidnapping when there's millions of little black kids missing.
But I think there's like perspective to that too, because and like someone made me see it this way, which is why I'm playing devil's advocate. But like we have no idea like how her living situation at home was. Like maybe this was a cry for help. Like how do we know her mom wasn't abusing her at home?
That is true.
That is true, but
I mean,
not to fake your own kidnapping. I'm sorry. Like, girl, just run away at that
said
point.
there's only one way.
Like, run away. And she, first of all, she has a grown-ass boyfriend, okay? He's 23. That's my age. She's 16. Oh,
Bitch,
that's not my
disgusting.
age. I'm 24, sorry. Close enough, though. And you're dating somebody who's 16. We're going to have another episode talking about that issue, because that's absolutely disgusting. Like, that's...
bitch,
Why are you
disgusting.
dating
You know what's
somebody
crazy
that
though?
young?
You know what's
She's a
crazy?
child.
And we're digressing, but isn't that crazy?
You said nothing, but isn't that crazy for the last couple of times you just talked?
Because I
So
just
what
want
are
to
you
see if
talking
she's
about?
gonna think like, isn't that crazy?
I don't
Moving
know.
on.
If you think about it, 16 to 23, what's the timeline of that?
7 years.
So like, if I right now date someone 7 years older than me, what is that, like 30?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
But
crazy?
that's different. I feel
But
like
that's
it's
different mentally, like, and maturing wise, like, that's completely different.
You're right.
Mhm.
You are a grown ass man. Why
She's
can you
16,
not?
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she's still in high school.
So this is
She
our
can't
Kelly.
even probably
can't
just
go
got
to the
your
bar with
period
her.
a year ago. Like, it don't even make sense.
You can't go to the bar with her.
at all. Not even an 18 plus club.
Kibbs,
Please tell me if that
are you
makes sense.
concerned?
Well, that's the difficult thing about this matter is that there's a big difference between age of consent and age of maturity. And I'm even if she can consent, so legally it works, right? Because in certain states, like there's nothing you can say against the fact that if she's 16 years old, she can give consent and she can be with him. How I personally feel about it, I mean, I don't support it, but then again, that's not something I can put my nose in because she literally can give consent. Would I allow it? I mean, I would. I mean, if it was happening within my circle, with my family, within my friends, I would definitely voice my opinion against it. But if it's not happening in my circle, it's kind of like, well, it can work. It literally can work. And do I personally think it should? I don't think so. But if it legally works, then I really. Do your thing, girl. What can I do? What can I do for real? It's not my cup of tea.
But we've digressed.
Yeah.
All right. I want to circle back to the social media stuff. So like Vine famous and Instagram famous, because a lot of people became famous off of that. Like now.
So social
6ix9ine
media and what it can do. for you.
First of all, the downfall of 6ix9ine is absolutely nuts. But 6ix9ine became famous off of
Just
Instagram.
media, like even people on YouTube, like people are getting paid money.
First of all,
for
there's
people to watch
8-year-olds making $20 million a
Yes.
year
them off of YouTube.
playing with toys.
Yeah.
Like kids nowadays watch other kids play with toys on YouTube instead of doing it themselves.
They need to see how it's done. That's why.
Like
It's
I
a
just
tutorial.
don't get
It's
it.
so odd, and it's like look at how we grew up, where like we were that like coming of age. Like this last decade was our coming of age decade, and like things have changed to the point where like now these kids when they're going into their coming of age, everything is like digitalized. Everything is so antisocial.
Yes.
It's like gonna be like I wonder what their look back decade is gonna look like.
I mean, I'm sure our parents felt the same way. Like, they
Probably.
grew up in an environment where it's like, oh, you play outside. That's it. But we grew up on like, oh, we're gonna like try to play with computers and like test out different online stuff. So like and like the beginning of social media. So I think like society just like repeats itself. Like we get scared, we fear, we complain, and then like one of these kids ends up solving cancer, and then it's like, thank God.
Or blowing up the world. We don't know.
Oh, really negative.
Sorry, wait. They just want
Oh,
to say
no.
something. The interesting thing about social media, and actually I was saying this before we went live, because I was talking to Anna Mo about it. This idea of making everything public, I think, could be both a very beautiful thing, because I think we get to see how different everybody is, and people get to find their groups and their clubs and their, was it niche or niche, whatever, however you pronounce that. And that's really good, but also the dangerous thing about it is that everybody feels like everything needs to be made public.
Yeah,
like,
it's some things.
and almost like become offended when people get in their business then. So for example, I had a friend who posted something about like, oh, my boyfriend and I were getting into these arguments, I'm so depressed, and everybody like ended up writing on her wall and sending support and stuff like that. And then the next post, she was like, why is everybody in my business? And I was like, well, you've made this thing public.
Very public.
Yeah, so
you were looking for advice or attention.
Or exactly. And I think one thing I learned, because my mentor, we're constantly having conversations, and he talks about this idea of finding flexibility in the framework. So the framework right now is still not meant for our generation. The people who have the money are the older people who come from a generation where they don't publicize things. So my mentor was really big on, number one, if you're using social media, only post things that you would feel comfortable with your parents seeing, or that you would be okay with your boss seeing. And also, but I mean, my boss, actually, my boss is,
I'm absolutely
he's connected with me on social media, so he sees the things I do. We're mad chill. But, and at the same time.
But you don't do anything crazy.
Yeah, I do. Nah, nigga. But the other thing that I think was also very important that he said as well is that when you make something public, you give everyone permission to comment on it. So, like, he was really big on, like, if you have a romantic relationship with your children, whatever you don't want everybody to talk about, it's like, don't post it. That was like one of the best things he told me. So I post a lot of crazy shit on my social media, but everything that I want people, I don't give a fuck if people talk about it. Like you can insult me, the crazy dances, the amazing dances I do, the great jokes I tell, all that's, fuck you. All that people can comment, my throat. All that people can comment on. But I wouldn't post anything that's very, very sensitive. I think people are not able to see that line yet. When people are like posting pictures of them crying, people posting like suicide notes online. That's a really good example. Actually.
Like,
that's
yo,
a really
I'm
good
the one.
example.
There's one of Little Mama crying.
In the camera? I think that's
a
so
lot,
fucking
actually.
pathetic.
Yeah.
I cannot stand that.
All right,
No, it's literally
don't
like,
have no one jump off nothing.
girl, I said what I
There she
said.
goes, little kid,
I
jump off.
said what I said, like Nene. I said what I said. No, there was this woman I just saw it on the Shade Room the other day. I don't know who I think she's J.R. Smith's ex-wife.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was crying.
She's recording herself crying and praying over him. Like, girl, you
I
didn't have to
heard
fucking
about
do
that actually. Yes.
But did that
But
bother you?
Yes, because why does everything have to be recorded?
He publicly cheated on you.
Yes,
So now
she's
you
publicly trying to make a statement.
Save what little bit of pride you have left.
Thank you.
Keep it in your pocket.
If you need to pray, do that to yourself. Now I feel like you're just doing it for attention. If you're posting it on social media,
I feel like
you know the following you have, you know the Shade Room is gonna pick that up, and people are gonna comment on it.
But what if that was the whole intention? I think that sometimes we don't understand people's intentions. We think that like what they present is like face value what it is, and I think that sometimes people have alternative.
They just want
publicity.
Thank you.
I just
they
thought it
have
pathetic.
alternative motives. Like
I
there's
hate when people
a
do that.
reason why, like for example, females post like sexualized photos.
Pictures.
That's not just because like I wanna post my body. Like.
Okay, but I'm talking about the crying on camera.
But I feel like there's a reason why she did it. I don't think she just did it like, oh, I want to like. It's like she was trying to evoke a response.
But I mean, this is also the age of the instant gratification, the instant I want everyone to see me, I want everyone's like attention.
I want all the likes, the comments,
likes,
the shares, everything.
Yeah, I think that like we're naive to the fact that like the social media is a game. Like people are out here building a life that they may or may not have, and that's super intentional. Every post that I have, every post I have is super intentional. I think like as I've matured, like I understand now, like I never want to present two different sides of Lala. Like I want to be as consistent in every space that I'm in, whether that's work or when I'm with you guys. I mean, obviously, like when I'm with my boss, we're not. Yes, sir. But no, I think like consistency and being transparent with who you are is important. But I can't pretend that like 90% of the time people aren't doing that because like even myself, I don't necessarily post my failures as often as I post my.
But I think that is a value that you have of yourself, and then there's other people who don't necessarily have that value, and they're trying to have this other character online of they want to. I like to call it clout sucking.
They do anything for clout.
So they want to portray themselves as a certain way. They want people to see them as a certain way. It's gotten to the point on social media that people care so much about how much other people like them that they are taking a post that they already posted and posting it somewhere else and telling people, please go like the other post.
And you can see how that, like how it's progressed, like how in the decade it progressed. Before, like Instagram was just about like getting actually, to be honest, I downloaded Instagram for the purpose of like editing my photos. Like I had no intention of like building a profile and having like my profile have a message and all that. And then as it's gone on, I've started to like basically create a brand. But it was never about branding in the beginning. It was just like an outlet to like post pictures. Now it's more like well thought out, and I feel like that's like the biggest change in the decade for all social medias. Is less about like I want to just say whatever. It's like I want to say whatever to like create this better image of myself.
And I mean, I get it for some people, like literally that's their income, so they have to.
Yeah, at this point it's a job.
But then there's the people that like Jamal that lives down the street. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay.
Well, we've been
So
talking for a
yeah,
while.
we have. Okay, so we talked about like Vine famous, Instagram famous. Vine was the fucking best app ever.
Do it for the Vine.
In 6 seconds, it was a whole story. Like the funniest memes and like little like, is it gifs, whatever?
Kibbs.
What? How do y'all say it? Gifs.
Yeah, I guess.
I know
Vine
you're
is
first
like.
gen. It's okay.
It's okay, man. I used to say
We all are?
menace.
You said what?
I used to say menace.
Mariah isn't. Mariah isn't. I don't think Mariah is.
I'm not. I'm second generation.
Oh. Well, we are actually.
Stay together.
Anyways,
Fresh off the boat.
First generation college
Fresh
student.
off the boat.
So we talked about like Vine famous, Instagram famous, like parodies and stuff, how these people come up. Also,
Maybe we'll come up as well.
Maybe, hey, just a share, like, and subscribe from you.
Humanity and
I'm
culture.
gonna post it right here in the description box.
Entrepreneurship, like a lot of people start their own businesses now because of social media. It's easier to attract people and to get like followers if you already have like a fan base. Not a fan base, but like a base at all, I guess. Like not a fan.
I think this is really. No. Go ahead, Brian.
I know, I'm allowing you to go first.
No, please, librarian.
Okay. What I was gonna say
we need
is,
to end this soon.
I was watching this documentary on Netflix called Broken. I put it on at Luz's house, but it's called Broken. It's basically about how the consumer market is broken. So they were talking about how it's so much easier now because of social media for people to become makeup artists and to spread their own brand. So what you were talking about with the entrepreneurship. So people don't have.
She's creating wigs.
Who?
I'm not, but go on.
Oh.
She was just talking about entrepreneurship.
She wanted to make a little jokey joke. It wasn't funny. Move on.
Now like you can be like a small business and get your makeup
Fortillis
out
fits.
there.
It's actually fitted by Fortillis. If anybody needs anything tailored
Yes.
in the
Springfield.
Western Mass area, Fitted by Fortillis is here to help
Good
you.
plug.
Wigs
That's
will,
it.
wigs
Yeah.
will be coming soon.
Wigs won't be
And it will
coming
be-
at all.
Oh, I thought you were gonna let me talk. Instead, you want to have a fucking stand-up comedy show.
Oh wow! You want to fight on the podcast?
We could do that. That will get the views up.
Move
It
on.
would actually get the views up.
I was-
Celebrity.
I was saying that you don't have to be part of this big company anymore. These big corporations, like people are becoming makeup artists from YouTube, starting their own lines. You don't have to be part of L'Oreal, MAC, and all this. They were just showing how it's so much easier for these brands to come up they call them indie brands, like ColourPop was able to come up out of nowhere and like become this big brand just because of social media.
And getting sponsored, like Fashion Nova too. Like that was just sponsored by like Amber Rose.
That's like
and all
free
these people.
advertisement now. Like people don't have to go to these companies and get things advertised. They don't have to go to billboards and all this. Like you can directly talk to who you want to buy your product.
Oh, actually, that's a real. Oh, sorry.
You're fired.
If you no, I need friends. I need attention. But so if you guys have time, watch the. There's two really good Breakfast Club interviews. One by Damon Dash. Have you guys seen that one?
No.
Oh, that one's
Damn, is
really
that a
good.
TBT though?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
that
little
one's a
bit. It
TBT,
is. Yeah, but
yeah.
that's really good. Another one by Nipsey Hussle is really good as
Yes.
well. And Nipsey Hussle's documentary about how he created the Marathon store is really good. But the reason I brought up the Damon Dash one is because he talks about this idea of direct to consumer, the way you can be an entrepreneur that just creates something and you make it directly to the consumer. So exactly what you're talking about. But he talks about how people are able to make movies over Vimeo, upload it, and then the consumer will pay them directly via PayPal or Cash App or all these different things. So it's really good. Yeah, that's really good. That's gonna change the market like drastically. in the
No,
next
yeah,
10 years.
I think that the decade, I think entrepreneurship has always existed, but when the decade began and we were kids, we were we were thinking about it in a social construct, like, oh, entrepreneurship is for men in business positions. Those are the only types of people that can become CEOs. Whereas like now, like our generation in combination with just like the changing time has to create new strategies of like creating multiple streams of income and like how creativity is what's like breeding money as opposed to just like basic skills or technical
just
skills.
money.
Yeah, so like I think in this decade you could see like people being more entrepreneurial.
Okay, well, we better gotta wrap things up.
I know. I really wanted to talk about the movies.
It should be like a part 1, part 2.
I mean, just
Oh,
sprinkle
but
on the movies. Like,
Sprinkle.
you know,
So
and
the
Oh,
top
the-
movies.
Let's do everyone's top 2.
Salt Bay. Oh my
Okay,
goodness, Salt Bay. That's what reminded me of. What was your top movie for the decade?
I don't even know.
Okay, moving on. What was yours?
I've got to say Christopher Nolan's The Batman series was really good. That was epic. Get Out, of course. I just saw Queen and
That was
Slim.
pretty good.
Also really very good. Very
You're
good
welcome.
movie. Yes, thank you for the recommendation. That was a really good movie. Great message. Django, of course, has to be on there.
Oh,
Django,
I forgot
yes.
about that.
And I didn't see all of the Marvel movies, but the ones that I saw were really good. And also the reboot of Spider-Man was epic. So yeah.
Was
I would say.
Zendaya? You saw that one?
Yeah, that's a new one.
Oh.
Didn't you see?
There's a cartoon
I
one
did
though
not.
too. That
Yeah, that's
Into
why
the
I-
Spider-Verse.
Wait. Oh, that one. No, I didn't see that one actually. I was talking about the one
I
with-
started watching
What's his
that
name?
one.
Tom Holland, I think.
Yeah, Tom
With
Holland.
Zendaya.
He's really good.
We only focus on the.
What about you?
Disney movies?
Oh, Black Panther. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Black Panther made a big
Wakanda
thing.
Forever.
Yeah. Get Out, Us, Queen and Slim, Django definitely is my favorite like top 10 movies of all
That
time.
was really good.
Moonlight is a very good movie.
Still
You ever
haven't
seen
seen
that?
it. Still have not seen
I
it.
First
just
of all-
can't seem to finish it. Like
What?
I don't get why, but I never finish it.
Oh.
I always get to the point where he's a teenager.
Oh girl, you don't want to see Trevante Rhodes, like when he's an adult?
I do, but like I just never.
We gotta mix to that part. 'Cause he's
Usually I watch it on a plane. Maybe that's the problem.
But the most epic, like I'll just say, series of this decade would be When They See Us. That
Yeah.
one hit me to the fucking.
That,
core.
I was so
pretty
afraid of
good.
seeing that. I haven't seen it yet. I
You
don't know.
will literally bawl
Yeah,
like
I
a
heard it.
baby.
That's
I
Oh
think
my
like
God.
Real, I
since like this is a podcast for Black experiences. Obviously we say things for everyone, but I think like we can all agree that like in this decade there's like this high volume of Black
Media.
film.
Mm.
And not like outside of just the BET specials.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
we've like
Baby
really
Boy.
made like
How many times did you play
solidifications in theater,
Mhm.
like with When They See Us, Get Out, And with directors as well, like all the big things with Tyler Perry
What's her
and
name?
Jordan Peele.
Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
Ava DuVernay, yeah.
Lena
I think
Waithe.
this decade was like the decade for a black film for sure.
Yes, I definitely agree. When They See Us.
Yeah, I think Get Out is my favorite though.
Get out.
Of the decade?
Yeah.
I just can't remember like back to 2010. I probably did see something.
Inception came out in 2010.
Well, I first of all
That was a good
wasn't even
ass
allowed
movie.
to watch these
Well,
movies.
I'm not a
Wasn't
cinema
even
fanatic
17.
yet.
I'm not either. I'm just telling you the movies I've seen.
I don't know. There's probably been some bangers. I just can only think of this year. I can barely remember last year. Like, I don't know.
I also like I don't know if everyone watches these, but African movies.
My cousin watched
Yeah,
it.
but I feel like those
African
did those
movies.
come out this year?
Who knows?
Yo, I don't know when.
First
the
of all,
show's
there's
gonna
like
come out,
8
but
parts.
Fire.
That's not really relevant right now, actually. Let me not even go in.
Yeah, Netflix has some good African movies actually.
That's all.
The Wedding Party, if anyone wants to watch it, that's a pretty funny one. Anything else before we wrap
Well, we
this
never
up?
talked about Beyonce's Homecoming.
Well, everyone knows Beyonce's iconic. Like,
Literally.
you should just know this. We shouldn't have to tell you this on the podcast.
That's very true. She's like one of the most influential
Like,
people, I think, of the decade.
My first
Wow, that's an
moment-
interesting perspective.
I think she's one of a top influence.
She has
No,
not
she is a
fallen at
top.
all.
She
Like,
is.
she's
People
still on that
follow
pedestal.
her. There's a church of Beyonce. People
What?
literally
Yeah,
follow
she
her.
is.
The Beehive?
Yes, like
Oh.
she.
That's-
But I think like my first moment of Beyonce was when she did "Crazy in Love," like the Pepsi commercial. I think that was my first.
Was
wow.
that this decade?
But I'm saying when I first
Oh.
got introduced to Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like after that I was just like, oh my god, like who is this? Like
Beyonce.
she's bumping and popping that little spine. Like,
Nah, look, it's Rihanna gang all day.
No, Rihanna, like I've like
We can all love them equally. Relax. Not a competition.
But yeah, I feel like we talked about a lot of stuff that happened in this decade. I mean,
And
10
we-
years is a lot of
it
stuff
is,
to talk
and
about.
we haven't even like touched base.
We're
like,
scratching the surface.
Literally.
We're just trying to save y'all from 2 hours of listening to us.
Yeah.
yeah.
But we may just sprinkle the content in other places.
Yes, y'all. Cause I mean, I don't know, like there's a lot, like that's a lot of years.
But Kibbs, do you have any actually, why don't we do this since we're moving on to 2020? What is your goals for 2020?
My goals for 2020, actually, what was the most impactful thing that I think that we discussed was the entrepreneurship. I want to really delve into that next year and try to find out how people do it via social media while still working within the structures that already exist, that have built organizations already that are already very popular. But I think ownership for me is very, very popular.
Yes.
Very important because I really don't like asking somebody to go on holiday. That bothers me so much when I have to go to my boss and do that. So I just want to create something on my own. There's so many avenues to do it now. And the world is so much smaller.
Side note,
Yeah.
go on holiday means go on vacation.
We know this.
Just in case
we watch
people didn't
BK
know.
chat.
So that's my goal. I have a project that I'm working on already. By the way, if people want to follow me on social media, since we were just talking about humanity and poetry on all platforms, and that's what I want to do for going from 2020 until 2030. To try to create a business that's worth at least $1 million. That's the goal. Yeah, we'll see how that works out.
This is possibly the decade that we have a child as well.
Wow.
Yeah, going into the next
We're going into like
Ew.
the 30s now. Like,
Why you say
ew.
that?
2020 to 2030, like
We're dead ass
It
gonna
could be a
33.
possibility.
It's slow for me. Like, it is so
Yeah.
slow, man.
I mean, you never know. You never know.
Can you imagine even?
No.
Anyway, continue.
No.
What is your
What's
goal?
your oh.
My goal, I think also ownership, but in another way, I want to own property because I think that's very important to bring the money back into the Black community, and I think that starts with ownership and owning things, not paying out the money that I have made, the money I worked hard for, to someone else's property. So I think that's a big goal for me to finally own some type of property or like be well on my way to owning property. I think expanding my own time with my creativity. If you don't know, now you know. I like to paint, so I would like to maybe do more with that. Just take the time
The
to
cover
actually
art
do it.
for
Episode 6.
Episode 6. That's Mariah's
That's
painting.
Mariah's
Get
work.
it.
Yes.
Get it, girl.
I think that's the two main things. I don't want to focus on too much. 'Cause I think that's when you start to
Overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, overwhelm yourself, or you don't focus on things at all, and then you end up another year went by and you barely did anything.
True.
So those are my main things that I want to focus on for 2020.
For 2020, I would definitely like to graduate from grad school.
Get it?
Also,
C's get degrees. C's get degrees.
Not in grad school.
C, no, okay.
they cannot, you get kicked out.
And that's why I'm not there.
Yeah, so school, definitely working on the podcast, getting it out there more, sharing it with more people. I want to make this brand bigger and better. Also, maybe starting my own side business on the side. I really don't know what I would do.
I already told you what it is, bro.
You should sell
Not the
lashes.
Fitch
wigs.
by Fertilis. Like, what is going on here?
I don't know, like getting more into like real estate, because I always wanted to get into that as well. I think that's pretty much it for me.
I think
So
that
now
mine are, again, I agree, like the ownership, I want to own my own home. I think that in 2020, I want to be more focused on my other side projects, like the podcast and like No Price Tags production. Check that out as well. That wasn't even English.
It wasn't.
I
I wasn't gonna say anything, but it wasn't.
No Price Tags Productions. And then I think finally I want to be like, I want to do more fun things. Like, I think that in the last year I really focused on like work and everything, but I want to reserve time to do something I've never done before, like jump out of a plane or like get married, you know.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
where that came from.
Wow. Okay.
That's a little different, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna take away from your moment.
Yeah, I think those are like two things, you know.
You don't feel like that's a hobby. Yeah, go get married or something.
Like just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna try it for the first husband and then.
If not, there's a whole gaggle of them.
All right, they're on very high supply at the store right now.
I have not met a husband yet.
Because you're not going to the right store.
Excuse me, you could give me the address after. Alrighty, well, that is it for this episode. This has been a very long episode. If you made it to the end of
Congrats
this,
to you.
congratulations. You just won a $25 gift card to Dunkin'
Ooh.
Donuts. Just kidding. But thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you guys had some good moments in this decade as well. She's laughing at her own joke. That's not
No,
funny.
Kibbs is the thing laughing too.
I don't know.
I'm trying to wrap this up.
Rub it up, rub it up.
So make sure you still participate in the holiday giveaway, and until next time,
Until 2020.
until 2020, happy holidays.
Yes, spend time with your
And
family.
happy new year from the lovely ladies and kids from Level 3 Heat.
Later.